say the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 477. It's Sunday, March 3rd, 2013, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews, broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, the brewmaster. Plus we bring you the segment Ridiculous Random Posts about something apparently people are up in arms about.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And did you know that there's a lot of controversy with Anheuser-Busch and the stuff that comes out of their spouts?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The beer that they make. It apparently is defending against allegations that they're watering down their alcohol, their beer belly making libations. Beer consumers have filed a proposed class action lawsuit against the company for mislabeling the alcoholic content of their brands. Oh, beer, that's funny. You look at the list of beer brands, and the first thing you think of is people that drink beer like water.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
So really, what's the difference? You've got your Natty Ice, your Michelob, your Bud Lights. That stuff your father
Mike's
would have drunk
Daily
to get drunk.
Podcast.
And then he would pass out on that chaise lounge in the backyard while snails crawled over his face. What? Am I painting a bizarre picture? I probably am. Oh, look, who just walked in.
Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player, I'll tell you what.
What?
There's nothing like drinking a delicious bud while sitting out barbecuing up some delicious tri-tip, tell you what.
And how come I'm never invited to these shindigs?
What's a shindig?
It's where you take your shin and you dig.
Why would I do that, and why would I invite you to a time when I was doing that?
I don't know.
Mike, we'll invite you over sometime, but you gotta make sure to bring something.
Okay, what would you like me to bring?
Popcorn.
Okay. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Do you like popcorn?
I occasionally will eat a corn that is popped.
You know, it's movie food, basically. You occasionally see it in a bar, but you know what? It's movie food. And apparently once you put that butter on it, it becomes more caloric than a lot of cheeseburgers you can go and eat and buy and eat them.
I would like to go buy and eat a cheeseburger now. Oh, boy.
No, we're busy, as you can see, doing this podcast. But I will tell you, I was at a German restaurant recently, and it was in Alameda, the little island off across from Oakland, and it was a beer that I had in one of those liter-type beer, German beer glasses. Holy, that was a lot of beer to drink. And, oh, the buzz was palpable from after drinking that. But apparently I ate some German food after that. I don't really recall, honestly.
Mike, you should have drank some wonderful water beer from Budweiser.
Water beer. I can't wait to try that, you know. Sounds good.
Mike, you know what? The fact of the matter is that Bud is American.
Actually, it's not. It's owned by a foreign company.
What? Tarnation.
Yeah. And what's interesting is people that come from Germany, they want to have American beer because they're so used to the good stuff back home that occasionally they like to have a glass of water here in the form of beer.
Wow, Mike, that's great. I gotta go now to a kegger down at the beach. Bye now, bye. I gotta remember to keep my bathing suit on.
That's interesting. Okay. So if you love the American beer that's made by Anheuser-Busch, or if you hate it, or if you think that they should get sued for not putting enough alcohol in their libations, you can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails for me mail. And also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We also have the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. That is where you can find our link to iTunes, and subscribe to this show in iTunes because more people find out about us when you do that. You can also rate the show and comment on the show there. And you can also like us. We have the Facebook link to where to do that, to our Facebook page, the link to where to find us on Yelp and Twitter and YouTube, as well as the link to where to find us on the internet radio stations, the KNJO Radio and the XRQK.com out of Los Angeles. Plus, find the podcast picture and the blog as well at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Ridiculous random posts.
So here are some posts that, well, actually it's one post that got my attention. This was actually posted a little while ago, but I wanted to mention this because it's one post, but it's like a zillion comments. And it really opened my eyes to how people really feel about dogs. Okay, so I have a dog, and actually, you may have seen pictures on the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. He is a boxer. His name is Basil. And in fact, real quick, when I was in Santa Cruz this past week, we were walking down Main Street, the downtown area of Santa Cruz, which you used to not be able to walk your dogs down there, but they lifted that law because they realized that's ridiculous. Okay, most dog owners are pretty responsible, and why should all of them be banned because of a couple of bad apples? Or maybe one bad apple that doesn't know what the heck they're doing with their dog. But here I am, I'm walking down the street, and there's a guy walking his cat. And this cat was walking next to him like a dog. It was amazing. But my dog, who hates cats, who I'm constantly having to restrain whenever he sees a cat, but he, you say the command, leave it, and he immediately moves on. But there was this cat, and the guy's like, can my cat meet your dog? And I'm, no, that could be bad. But that was an interesting sight. Anyway, this guy posted, I went for a hike at Lake Chabot today. That is in the Podcastro Valley. And I have a question. Oh, and it's an area where you can walk and jog and bicycle. It says, what is up with all the baggies of dog poop on the side of the trail? They are like gross little blue plastic mile markers. Or is it more like Hansel and Gretel for scat fetishists so they can find their way home? That's a funny post. It's amusing. There then was comments by, I think, about 30 or 40 people. And they ranged from the following. I am a dog owner, and I find it ridiculous that people can't hold on to the poop until they find a garbage. I have a large Sarge that takes massive stinky ones, and I still hold on to it until I can find a trash can. Come on, dog owners, clean up the poop before they don't let us bring our dogs anymore. Okay, now I have to say right now that I always have baggies on me, and I'm always picking it up. And I do think people that don't pick up dog droppings are dumb and inconsiderate. And I tell them that. However, when I have walked my dog along the trails and along like this park area, I have been told by fellow dog owners that, oh, you don't have to carry that bag with you the entire time. You can leave it on the side of the trail and the rangers will come pick it up. Well, this gets disproven in the comments below. The poster says the official code is any person bringing a dog onto the park property shall immediately remove the excrement deposited by such animal. Animal waste must be placed in garbage cans or removed from the park. That makes sense. Somebody suggested in a comment that you should pick it up rather with a bag, pick it up with a newspaper, since that breaks down better. It is odd that dog poop bags end up in the overall waste and then collect and become part of the landfill and add to all the other garbage that we have. It can't be recycled. You would think that they'd come up with some way of being able to use it in the green waste, but they tell you don't stick it in the green waste. Not even without the plastic bag part. And someone goes off about how using newspaper is ridiculous because you're cutting down a tree in order to pick up dog waste. And then one real class act writes, I hate dogs and they shouldn't even let them in the park. Or maybe it's just dog owners I hate. Well, then maybe you should move to a country where there are no dogs at all, because dogs are here and they're queer. No, wait. They're here, so get used to them. Really, they can be awesome friends, right, Basil? As we go outside the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
By the way, that was the second time I've seen someone walk a cat. The other place, other than Santa Cruz, was in the Podcastro in San Francisco. Somebody was walking a cat, and that cat looked a little bit more like he didn't know what was going on. I felt kind of bad for the cat. It looked like it wanted to just, go somewhere like on a tree branch and just be left alone from everyone. Northern California. And the picture has to do with a part of Northern California in the San Francisco Bay, looking out over towards Tiburon and Angel Island and Sausalito. You see a sailboat sailing there. It was a beautiful day. I actually took this from the Sausalito ferry, going from the San Francisco ferry building over to Sausalito on the ferry, which you can get that ride on a tremendous discount if you get a Clipper card, I found out. And it is a fantastic little boat tour that actually takes you somewhere at the same time. So it's a lot of fun. And you usually meet some interesting people. I've met people from all over the world on that little ferry trip. So there's a picture of a sailboat there to take you away, as Christopher Cross would have you know that sailing takes you away to where you're going to. I think is how the lyrics went to that. You can see the picture at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com.
Mike, I'm hungry. I sure wish I could go to a food truck to get something to eat.
Yeah, you know, that's becoming a big controversy here in Podcastro Valley. People don't like the fact that other people want to have food trucks here. And the people that own restaurants locally are like, no, they're going to take food out of our mouths. I mean, money out of our pockets. So it's like but the traveling food truck eating, the whatever they call it, off the grid type eating is a big fad now, even though people, as we've talked about on this podcast before, are questioning how much pollution those food trucks cause, and is it really worth it to get something to eat out of one of those things when you have to sit at a really disgusting table that someone's left all their ketchup all over and stuff. It's like you might as well just be eating at a fast food restaurant at that point. But you're eating gourmet food out of a truck, so woohoo, that's cool. But that's the other controversy, other than people not picking up their dog poop, is the...
Mark, whatever, I want to eat out of a food truck.
Tell you what, why don't we just go get some popcorn instead?
I love the popcorn. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, why don't you sell your root beer out of a food truck? I bet you can make a lot of money, because all those hipsters like to throw money at people that make things and sell them out of food trucks.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Where can I get a food truck?
Well, I got an old pickup truck you can use.
Oh, boy.
Well, I see the beginning of a beautifully messed up relationship. Tomorrow we will bring you the segment, The Bottom of the Charts, plus we'll hear from Madame Rutabaga Valentino and Bison Bentley.
What? Tarnation.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!